Do, do. Oh, hey guys, how you doing? I always wait for a few minutes, otherwise it cuts off what I'm saying here. Um, all I can say right now is welcome to the bottom line. All right, I've been off a few days, and so I might be a little rusty here tonight. Uh, Welcome to tribal form number 61. Can you believe we've gotten up to 61 tribal forms in such a short time? It's amazing. I've got devices exploding around me here that I knew that I turned around, but as you, or turned down, but as I've told you guys before, I use my wife's iPad as a monitoring device, and the damn thing is haunted as hell. Tonight we're going to be talking about the farewell, the great farewell albums of classic rock. And we're going to be talking about which ones were hits and which ones were missing. But like always, I'm going to go over a little tribal business here, channel business. As people trickle in, we gain an audience, and I do an established presentation, and I want you all, or as many of you, to be online when we do that. And this gives me a chance to do a couple of shout outs and to take care of channel business in case you're interested. Now, if you are a new viewer tonight and you're wondering what is all this nonsense about, the Tribal Forum is a portion of Michael Noland, The Bottom Line. The Tribal Forum is part of the channel, but this is where I get a chance to talk to you guys in the here and the now, the right now. And I also get to get feedback from you fine folks as well. All right, now I do want to say we're on troll alert tonight. Somebody let out one of the trolls today, and every time that stream does that, we're bound and determined to get him and a couple of his minions over. So be on the alert, all of you tribal marshals. Now, some of you might be thinking you're seeing a wrench next to these guys' name. Nah, no. That's not a wrench. That's a badge, man. That's a badge. And they are tribal marshals. And I want to introduce a brand new tribal marshal tonight, Natalie Angelo. Welcome, Natalie. And go get them. Go get them. But all of you tribal marshals, I every once in a while will say this. With great power comes great responsibility. So use it judiciously, not just against somebody you might not agree with or anything, but harmful and spiteful comments, kick them to the rafters, folks, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now, many of you are saying that you're being unsubscribed. I've been bringing this up lately, and I'm still getting notifications from you guys. I mean, quite recently that this is happening. Either that or that your notifications are being turned off when you've done no such thing. And there's nothing I can do about that on this end. I don't have the power to unsubscribe you. All right. And I wouldn't if I did. Okay, so all I can say is every once in a while, check on your, on the channel. Make sure that you're still subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is still kind of clicked. That becomes real essential when it comes to my live streams, doesn't it? Now, if you, even if your notifications are turned off, I am trying my best to make sure that I stream every Sunday night at 5 p.m. PST. Adjust your local times accordingly, right? And Wednesday nights at 5 o'clock again, PST. Now, I just put out a members only video for you members out there. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I would suggest that you take a look at it because I talk about some possibilities happening with the channel, right? And I always share those first with the actual members. And of course, those are tribal elders or tribal chieftains. So if you haven't seen that, make sure that you take a look at that. I'm still working on my list, the 21st Century Unholy 10. I have to read it, of classic rock. The Unholy 10 of classic rock. And that's going to be fitting into where we're going to be going with this channel as well as doing exactly what we've been doing all along. But I want to fine tune some points, and we're going to be talking more about that probably on Wednesday when we have a little more time to discuss. Because tonight I'm only on for an hour or a little bit over if I don't get down the road quick enough. Because right after I'll be joining Royce on his panel over at Royce in the House tonight. Okay. And he's going to be talking about Robert Plant and why he didn't show up somewhere. I have a theory or two, Royce. All right. So I'll be over there. I see Royce in the chat right now. Royce is the brother. Royce in the House is the brother channel to this channel. And so is Dan McNews, Just the Facts Man. All right. So if you see either one of those fine gentlemen in the comments, you'll know that I'm connected quite tightly with both of them. Okay, I always do a quick announcement of merch. A lot of you were asking, we need merch. And so I went and got, first, we're starting with mugs. We're working on t shirts right now. This is the latest design. I know I'm backwards. I'm sorry to new viewers, but I'm working on a very basic platform, which we're working on to change as well. But it reverses my image for some damn reason. But if you can't read that, it says, "We are the tribe." And there you see the tribe gathered on the shores of some enchanted island with palm trees and a giant Les Paul guitar to guide them to the promised land. Those are available. All you have to do is click the title of tonight's stream, and you'll have a link to the tribal store. This is the original, again, backwards. This is the original mug. That's the same tribe up close, made up of all kinds of folks, men, women, black, white, yellow, polka dotted, from all over the world. And it says, "We are the tribe." So, what is the tribe? The tribe does come from all over the world. Yeah, I have an audience that spans the globe. All right. Well, maybe with the exception of one continent. But other than that, I think I've got it covered, right? And so we as a tribe come from all different cultures, beliefs, religions, philosophies, all that stuff I've talked about before, right? But when we come here and we gather, we put all that crap aside and we still argue sometimes, right? But we discuss the wonders of classic rock. That's what we all have in common. All right. So before I get on to this, oh my goodness, here we go. Welcome to Tribal Chieftain, Irgersplitten Loudenboomer. All right, dear Jam. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Kimberly says thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Welcome to the tribe. Welcome to Tribal Chieftain. I love that. I love that. Did you become, is that what you did? Did you upgrade?
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody curious, when it comes to memberships, there's two tiers, and the second tier will carry bonuses here very seriously. Most of the people who are on the second tier are just trying to support the show. But there will be more bonuses coming your way. So, but the lower tier, which is only $5 a month, folks, you become a tribal elder, right? You are royalty, baby. And a lot of my members only videos talks about tribal business, things I don't talk about up here. All right. That just where I am. These are the people who are financially supporting the channel. So I want to let them in on what's going. They've invested into the channel becoming successful. And I love every single one of you. Which brings me to covering the, let me make sure I've got here. Did I keep going too far? Yeah, there we go. Those who gave us super thanks from last stream, okay? So that was on Wednesday. The following people were so gracious. White Monkey with a $5 super thanks. Thank you, brother. Franco Blondie. Deuces Wild was in with a $20 super thanks. Stephen Fox, I see you out there, brother, with a $5 super thanks. White Monkey in with an additional $5 super thanks. Storm Cop. Is Storm Cop out there tonight?
He is.
He is. How you doing, James?
Yeah.
He came in with a $5 super thanks. And Royce in the house with a $10 super thanks, followed by Just the Facts Man with a $10 super thanks. Oh, they just got started, folks. Oh, on these, I'll get to you in a minute. And Deuces Wild with a $2 super thanks. Now, before I get to these final super thanks shout outs, I do want to say I've put feelers out there. If anybody knows where Bill Hawkins is, all right. Now, Bill occasionally financially supports the channel, but that's not why I'm asking. I'm concerned. He always has great input, and he hasn't been around a while. Maybe Bill's just busy or anything, but we miss you, brother. And if you're catching this on the replay, I hope you're doing well. All right. So both Royce and Dan were in with $10 super thanks. Dan followed that up with a power of two. All right, a $2 super thanks. Then Royce just did it again. It was like they had this competition going with another $2 super thanks. Rockin' Robin came in with a $2 super thanks and followed that up with a $5 super thanks. Natalie Angelo, brand new tribal Marshall, gave us a $5 super thanks. Thank you, Natalie. I was calling you Matt. I was calling her Natalie, baby.
Oh, Natalie. Oh, my goodness.
Well, she's going to have me
That's
out.
too funny.
Yeah, boy, that's not good, huh?
Yeah.
The voice you hear is my wife, who is my producer, and she is the one identified as
Oh,
Kimberly Noland there in the chat. She is my link to you guys as I give you a presentation.
Argus Splitting just came in with one of those.
I see that. I'll be right with you, dear Jem. Let's see. So I said that Dr. Rick came in with a $2 super thanks. Dr. Rick has had a tough time lately. He's been back in the hospital. I believe high blood pressure. He's made that no. But it may have been something else because he was talking about a lot of pain he's had to endure. And thank you so much for your kind comments when you said that Royce and I get you through tough times. Brother, you get us through tough times as well. So thank you so much, Doc. Rockin' Robin Bird, of course, with that $2 super thanks, she added another $5 super thanks. And John C. ended the evening with a $5 super thanks.
45 RPM just sent bottom line 5 membership.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. All right. So we got to take some time here, folks. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you, 45. I appreciate it. He does this every once in a while. That's well timed, by the way. You know, if any of you are curious about that video I was talking about and about 2 or 3 others recently where I discuss things I don't discuss up here, this would be a good time to find out what that's all about. Unfortunately, we can't send it out to anybody individually. The YouTube algorithm takes over from here and spits it out as an option for you to go ahead and sample the membership. It gives you the opportunity to become a tribal elder. Thanks so much, 45. I appreciate that so much. Oh my goodness. Natalie Angelo, I just shouted her out. She gave us $5 last stream. She's giving us $5 tonight. I'll give you a like. I can't give you a heart.
Irga Splitting just came in with another.
Oh, yeah, and I have to back up for Irga Splitting here. First, he gave us a $2 super thanks. He says, swinging the deuce hammer. Damn straight, brother. You know, when we talk about the power of 2 or the deuce hammer, I may even inculcate that, brother, you know, into how we do this. But swinging the deuce hammer, you know, sometimes we get, excuse me. Yeah, I got a tickle. And it ain't going away. Sometimes we get rather large super thanks, right? But a lot of people, I can't give you $20. $10 is too much, right? But you'd like to support the channel. Send us a $2 super thanks. It helps so much. All right. Let's see. And then Edgar Splitting was in again. with another $2 super thanks tonight. Thank you, brother.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've got everybody thumbs up. There we go. This one is for Dr. Rick. Get well, brother. Ah, see, I told you, brother. Everybody cares, man. Everybody cares on this channel, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to keep the trolls to a minimal.
With the super thanks.
Oh yeah, thank you, Deuce.
Became a tribal elder.
Oh right. Well, and he may have just taken that opportunity too. And for every one of those, which one? How many did he buy? He bought 5.
Yes.
Was that 5, baby? That's like a $25 super thanks.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Deuces Wildin with a $5 super thanks. Rest in peace, Ronnie Rondell Jr., the stuntman on Fire on the cover of Wish You Were Here, part of Rock History Forever, Rock On Tribe. Oh, wow. I didn't know he passed away. Thank you, Deuce, for both the super thanks and for, the information. I remember the story behind that. They had to keep lighting him. Flames were going all kinds of crazy. It was a difficult shoot, but what an amazing album cover that is. Okay, well, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Let's see, we've got 56 in so far. That's great. Okay, so I think that about covers it. First of all, I wanted to show you, I've got a list here, folks, and we're not going to be able to get through all the way of the list, but I'll go until I can't go, and we'll see, how far we can take this. But before I ever get to this list, I do want to. Here's 2 albums that wouldn't have been on this list, and some of you may have already seen me do the unboxing of this when it came in. This is, of course, Ozzy Osbourne's Patient Number 9 album. This has become Ozzy Osbourne, the solo artist, final album. All right. Exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. All right. It's not on that list, but I would firmly put this on the list. And what it was, it a hit or a miss? Major hit. What a glorious way to go out. And then here's another band that wasn't on that list. Now, this list includes live albums, even. So I feel free to include Pink Floyd at Pompeii. It used to be called Live at Pompeii, but I think it's just Pink Floyd at Pompeii now. Yeah, that's what it says. And been listening to this tons. And this, for all intents and purposes, they will include The Endless River on this list. And we'll go over that when we got time. But since the article was written, this has come out. It's a live album. And so I would consider this really, under those circumstances, Pink Floyd's last album, right? And what a way to go out. The album we should have always had to begin with, in my humble opinion. All right. Now this list, I want to read what the article starts off with. It'll give you a flavor of why they put this list together. This is a UCR article. Sometimes I use them, and it's called Final Albums: 41 of Rock's Most Memorable Farewells. All right. And it starts off by saying, and I don't want that thing shining in my face so brightly. We'll bring that down just a bit. Not too far. Okay. Yeah, way too far. Let's try a little higher than that. Okay. So here's how the article started off. It says, rock bands tend to peak early in their life cycles, riding the wave of youthful inspiration. It's hard enough to keep a project going for years. It's almost impossible to make great albums up to the end. In other words, not all final albums are created equal. Some long haul acts slowly fizzle, trickling out average material every few years, mostly as an excuse. Now, dig this, mostly as an excuse to rev up the touring engine and play the greatest hits, right? I've been saying they don't even do that anymore, do they? I've been saying that's exactly what they got to do. artists should be putting out, if they're out touring, they should be putting out an album every 3 years at least, and get renewed interest in the band. And even if they are playing mostly hits at their show, at least they're vital. They're still artists, they're still creating, right? If they're not doing that, they become a traveling jukebox, in my humble opinion. All right. Okay. So anyway,
Oh
it
my
says,
goodness, Angela. Angela just came in with a super
oh, I'll
thing.
have to check it
Oh,
up over
Angela,
here. That
thank
was a
you
good phone.
so much.
Hi.
That is so
Oh,
sweet.
Angela, thank you. I kind of inherited Angela through Royce, I believe. Wasn't it, Angela? Yeah. Royce says, I've gotten so many people coming to my channel because of your channel. Hey, it goes the other way, brother. You're right. I was naming a few of them that I've got, directly from your channel. They just kind of came over here. So we've both benefited. She says, peace, love, and understanding. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Not enough of that stuff, Angela. That's
Right.
for sure. A $5 super thanks. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so others keep the machine running organically, hitting the brakes due to inevitable creation tension, um, oversized egos, or commercial backslides. In cases like Nirvana,
Oh,
I see
Agent
that.
Pepsi just came in with
I'll be right with you, Agent Pepsi.
Oh,
In,
Agent Pepsi, I hope you feel better, girl.
oh, is she not? Is she
She's
under the
having
weather?
allergies really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh my
she's so
God.
sweet.
Yeah, our daughter gets them real bad, real bad. Boy, we had her tested. She was allergic to everything known to man, wasn't she, babe?
Yes.
Yeah, sad. Um, well, I hope you're feeling better. Uh, find your Claritin moment. That's all I can say, Agent. My heart goes out to you. I can't even imagine having to deal with that day in, day out. But other parts of the year, you're fine. Nirvana. It says in cases like Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Stevie Ray Vaughan, projects ended tragically, right? Some final albums are tougher to categorize. Take David Bowie's 2016 Swan Song,
Oh.
Black Star, one of the ones on the list, which he recorded after being diagnosed with liver cancer. The art rock icon knew this batch of songs would likely be his last, and he left it behind like an artful goodbye, dying 2 days after its release. We took an objective approach in compiling the stories behind the 41 classic rock final albums. Okay? So in this list, it's got a ton of them. The very first one up was, let me grab this. I think I got to get over there anyway, don't I? I think your allergies are spreading, Agent.
Novus
Let's see.
Fan.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? It's good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. We've got 70 watching. Oh, excellent, excellent crowd tonight. Let's see. Did I wanted to get? Oh, okay, good. $5 from Agent Pepsi One. Give that a thumbs up. You're double digits now. The Zombies and Beatles left at the top of their game. As
Monkey just came into the stream with a super thanks.
okay, I'll get right to him, babe. I'm reading Agent Pepsi's super thanks.
Sorry.
She gets excited,
Thank
folks.
you, White Monkey. That's so sweet.
No disrespect, Agent. It's okay. Marshall Agent Pepsi to you, Michael.
Yeah.
Right? Uh, the Zombies and Beatles left at the top of their game, as did Styx with their original lineup. I agree with that. If you're talking about their original lineup, from what I hear, their last couple albums, they're still producing something. I'm not a major fan of the band as it is now, but I listened to their latest two albums. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And at least they're creating stuff. But no, they're a shadow. I agree with you, Pepsi, there of what they were. Absolutely. 1983's Kilroy. Yeah, Kilroy was here. Some just drone on in mediocrity. Too true. And we're going to be discussing some of that. Um, tonight as well. White Monkey, Franco Blonde, $5. Thank you, brother. He says most musicians reach their creative zenith between ages 20 and 35. And I think you're probably nailing that pretty close. Now, there are plenty of musicians that have gone far beyond that. I mean, McCartney was still producing major, great works into his 40s, 50s, even, right? And he's managed, was he in his 60s by the time, let's see, 42, Carry the Nine? Oh, he might have been just around 60 where, what was it? Uh, Memory Almost Full came out. Okay, so there are those who beat that. McCartney. I just saw an article on him, and he said a lot of people ask me why don't you just retire, right? And this is back when he was still dyeing his hair, so it probably goes back maybe 10 years ago. And he said I can't even imagine getting up and not writing a song. What's better than to sit down with nothing, with your guitar or a piano, and 1 to 3 hours later, you have something, and people are actually going, I kind of like that one, and to him, uh, that's like the greatest compliment when his own friends and family go, oh, that's a good one, Paul. Right? He's still in love being an artist. He's still in love with the craft of writing, of songwriting. Right now, is he writing up to the abilities we've seen him there? Yes and no, I think. I think he has become much more sophisticated in his writing, and sometimes he sophisticates himself right up his own arsehole a little bit for me these days. But it's still major works and everything like that. I just wish he'd get back and, give us an occasional biker like an icon, or something like that. Good, and get back to a more poppy sense, staying in within the ruins. As a matter of fact, I'd love him yeah, to sit down and say, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to write myself an album as if I was the Beatles, and I'm writing my material for the Beatles. Purposefully, I'm going to do that. I bet you 10 to 1 it would sell like hotcakes, folks. All right. Okay, so getting back over here to the first album up was Buffalo Springfield. Last time around, apparently, this album came out. This is 1968. Was this their third album? I'm trying to remember. It was their last album for sure. And it was through a contractual obligation. So they bundled a bunch of unreleased tracks from earlier in the year. I guess they had uh, continued to tour, and they were busy and they were writing stuff, and and they get in and record early, so they had that. It wasn't necessarily stuff for an album or anything like that. And then they bundled that with unreleased tracks from 1968 and came out. The funny thing about that album, I'm not familiar with it. I'm only familiar with their first album. Maybe some of you can let everybody know in the tribe how good is Buffalo Springfield's last time around. How would you rank it? Let us know in the comments. Um, anyway, it was their most successful LP. I didn't know that until I looked at this list, and now I want to listen to it and go, maybe I missed one on this. It got up to number 42. Can you believe their other albums didn't even get that high? That was their most successful album, Buffalo Springfield, last time around. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, okay, and their last album. Now, Jimi Hendrix is a man with many last albums, right? He's got the postmortem albums, and the latest of those would be the last album, right? Then he's got the Band of Gypsies, and the last of those would be. But most of us know Jimi Hendrix from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is, boy, is it even a true Jimi Hendrix Experience album? It is. The experience is there, but so is everybody else in their cap. He brought in a lot of people. This is more of a Jimi Hendrix solo album than a true experience album, but I consider it, the final experience album. So much so that I made sure I got a copy of it, right? Okay, let's see. Cream, Goodbye Cream, 1969. There, it was interesting with them. They had already announced a farewell tour, and while they originally planned to, have this album with half studio tracks, half live tracks, that's what they wanted to do. But they and do a big old thing, but they only wound up with enough quality cuts for one disc. All right. Goodbye Cream. Now, I like their first album, second album, first album, definitely. I'm just negotiating Cream for me, and mainly because of Royce. I had their anthology box set, and I know all their material from there, but I was never which one came from what album or anything. I was more of a Clapton fan than I was of a Cream fan, although Cream would be in my top 30 bands for sure. Absolutely. And that's saying something because I can name 250 bands that you guys would love, right? So if I'm saying top 30 for me, that's a high compliment. Okay, then we got to another one that I've got tonight, and that is the Abbey Road album by the Beatles. All right. Now, there might be a few of you. I doubt if there's a whole lot of you who aren't aware that Let It Be was not their last album. It was the last one released, but it was the first one of these two albums to be recorded. It got shelved. They almost released it in haphazard condition a couple of times. And then they just kind of gave up on the project and they went back into Abbey Road Studio with the intention to record one super jam packed, great album the way we used to make them, right? And boy, did they, right? This has got to be one of the most successful final albums in history. Now, Janis Joplin's Pearl album from 1971, the one with Mercedes Benz, and all of that. Uh, 3 days after recording Mercedes Benz, she was dead at the age of 27. Okay, Janis Joplin. She's in the 27 club. All right. And the album just scored. I mean, that album was everywhere when I was a kid. I liked her with Big Brother and the Holding Company. I wasn't that much interested in her as a solo artist, although I loved her voice. Okay. And that's got to be one of the most successful albums in classic rock. Uh, it may have been Doc Insomnia brought out The Doors' LA Woman from 1971. Less than 3 months after LA Woman was released, Jim Morrison was dead at the age of 27, another member of the 27 Club. The band put together, I think it was three more albums, was it? And Full Circle, yeah, An American Prayer, and Other Voices, right? But it was never the same, and nobody was really. I mean, audiences in general weren't that interested in what they had to offer without Jim, right? And L.A. Woman has got to be one of the greatest uh, albums of all time. But many would say, yeah, but if they had continued and they kept putting out albums with Jim, uh, would their last eventual album have been as good as their tragedy can often almost ensure quality when you think about it along those terms. Creedence Clearwater Revival, last album called Mardi Gras, 1972. Uh, Talk about a disaster. Okay, so first of all, John Fogerty was the primary songwriter for Creedence, pretty much the only songwriter for Creedence, and he was responsible for their sound. He was their leader. No matter how much older brother Tom resented that idea, this, Creedence Clearwater Revival, there was a synergy that all four band members had. All right. And that synergy they had was part of the creative spark. So I'll give Doug and Stu their due there. But when they demanded to write up to 6 tunes for this song, and Stu very much being criticized for his material, wasn't that the album that had Sweet Hitchhiker? If it was that one cut I liked. But I like I said, I'm collecting vinyl. I have no plans to get Mardi Gras. I, I'm not that much of a completist. I buckle under too much pain, folks. The Velvet Underground. Now, they were, I guess their last album was what, 71 or 1970, Loaded. And then they went on tour and they were touring up to, oh, yeah, Squeeze, right? Okay, and then all of a sudden in 1973, they come out with let me grab this, make sure I've got the right one here. Squeeze, right? 1973. But the thing is most of the members were gone. Okay. And this left one member and nobody was interested. And so this was a dud. Remember, we were talking about egos or disinterest, people leaving the band can really put a cut into the creativity of that band badly, right? When key members are missing, usually the product or the album or the music absolutely suffers every time. They put up Leonard Skinner Street Survivors from 1977. Now, Leonard Skinner's put out, what, dozens of albums since then, it seems like. But I agree with them with this being Leonard Skinner's last album. This is the album that was out, and shortly after, a horrible plane crash killed 6 people, 3 from the band, their guitarist, their lead vocalist, and their backing vocalist. You know, Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and Cassie Gaines. Okay, so anything after that was almost make believe. They still had key members in the band. I don't dismiss Leonard Skinner after Street Survivors, but the real Leonard Skinner
Oh my goodness.
is Street Survivors
Ben-
and before,
Ben
right?
Scheidegger just
I see that. How you doing, Ben?
Thank you so much.
Good to
Ben.
see you in.
Ben is always so sweet.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Here we go. Give you a
Ben.
thumbs up there. Ben Scheidegger, $10 super thanks. Thank you so much, Ben, from the heart.
Oh,
Says, in my opinion, The Division Bell is Pink Floyd's true farewell album. It was initially meant to be a double album. The Endless River was recorded during these sessions in '93, only released as a tribute to Rick. And you're right. And I agree with you that when you compare those. But I also said when I was doing this, the list also included double albums, right? And so that's why if we're gonna for this list only, Ben, I would say this is their last album. This is the last album ever produced, never out ever, right? And here it is, man. We got it right here. But uh, if I wasn't including the live album and the live album, really, if I'm real honest with myself, that should have been the album just before Dark Side of the Moon. Then I'd agree with you 100%. And by the way, I've been watching a lot of videos on the Division Bell. You know, the Division Bell is the division bell between fans, it seems like. A lot of Pink Floyd fans hate that album. And a lot of us, me, love that album. I think it's wonderful. Usually it's because, Paula, um, uh, did so much of the writing on it. A lot of, I've said it in the past. Anytime you mention Roger Waters, he has his sycophants out there. You can't say anything bad about Roger Waters. If you criticize that he shouldn't be preaching at paid events, but you say he's a genius and that you've been a big fan of his and you love his bass playing and you think he's a great songwriter, and all of that, yeah, I'll get people that I'm unsubscribing to that monk said that about Roger. How dare he? You know? So I have no trouble accepting the Division Bell. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of their better albums. If you take their whole catalog, I think it's one of their better albums. All right. Is it at the tip top? No, but it's damn good. It's damn good. I prefer listening to it than a goodly. There's one for you, Brandon. Brandon's at work. Oberheim, you know him as Oberheim. He's at work listening to us tonight, right? But,
Yes.
a goodly portion of the wall I have traditionally not cared for. And there's not a portion of the division bell that I won't listen to. I listen to it in whole. I love it and everything. And there are, but its heights aren't at the heights of the wall. So that would be, which one do you choose? But I love it. I think it's a wonderful freaking album. All right. In Through the Outdoor was another. And this is one. And again, I'm just starting with vinyl, folks. I'm the first to admit I haven't been doing this very long, and but I've got that one. All right. So was it a hit? Actually, if you think about it, if I just and a lot of you might be thinking that's bullshit, man. Coda's their last one. That's their farewell album. And for the rules of this list, they said no, we're not going to include that because a lot of it was stuff recorded for other albums. They
Oh
didn't
my
quite make it.
goodness,
It
hon.
was almost posthumous, in
Broad
other words.
Snake just came in
I
with
see
his
that.
favorite things. Oh,
Bron Snake, good to see you, by the way, brother.
thank you,
Power of
sweetie.
two. He goes, hey, Michael, got the six string dove. Oh, not the 12. Oh, God. Oh, the dove. Oh, he's got a dove.
Yeah,
Why can't I have a dove?
a dove.
I want a dove. One of the best songwriting guitars on the planet, babe.
Okay.
Oh, I'm jealous, Bron Snake. Congratulations, though. Got a dove. He's got a dove.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's incredible. Can we talk about Christmas, baby?
Yeah, okay.
She's laughing maniacally. That's not a good sign,
No, I
folks.
can never deny you.
Yeah, I think the Dove's just a touch out of my price range, baby. But it's always been a guitar. And then the Martin, what is the other one that I like? The D 20 something. That's the one. That's kind of my, you know, ah, that or a '58 Gibson Goldberg Les Paul, which I used to have, by the way. Okay. Sad story how I let that one go. I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm serious. I don't want to talk about it. There's a reason
Oh,
why I'm playing an Epiphone Les Paul these days. Okay. That's all I can say, folks. The pain is still too close. So, within Through the Outdoor, is it their best send off? I'd rank it number 8 out of 8 out of their studio albums, right? It's still great. Like I've said many times, Led Zeppelin didn't put out a bad album. Matter of fact, they didn't put out a mediocre album. Even Coda, everything's top notch from them, right? But it would be my less favorite, right? And the reason is because Jimmy Page's he was in bad shape. So was Bonham, but Jimmy is a key writer, not being in the shape. A lot of the writing from that came from John Paul Jones. Thank God, their secret weapon, and Robert Plant kind of steering where it was going. And after they were done with it, both Bonham and Page was a little bit unhappy with the results. Not thoroughly, but they wanted to get back to hard edge, and their plan was on the next Led Zeppelin album, it was going to get back to the hard, kick-ass Led Zeppelin. Jimmy was bound and determined to do that, and yet he couldn't. He never got a chance. Of course, John Lennon's Double Fantasy. Now, this is an album that really pisses the hell out of me when I think about it. I bought this album the second it came out. I loved it, except for Yoko's crap. But I love John's stuff a whole lot, right? And but I bought him as fast as I bought Paul McCartney. Let's just put it that way. John album's out. I'm down at the record store. Where is it? You didn't sell out, dude. And it was never sold out, but I was all you. I got to be first in, right? And I loved it. He released a single, didn't go nowhere. Sales were going nowhere. Then he was murdered, and all of a sudden, this album and hits galore, skyrocketing. The world had discovered and claimed that John was at his top the day he was murdered as far as a writer. Hell, I could have told them that to begin with. I remember distinctly being pissed off about that. It's like, what the hell is wrong? This is some of his best stuff. Woman, watching the wheels, how could you possibly be ignoring this album? And it was, for the most part,
Oh my
ignored in
goodness.
mass.
Deuce
It really was.
Wild just came in with the super.
Oh, thank you, Deuce. I just see it. It goes $2 super thanks. Power of two, baby. Love you all. We love you, Deuce. You know that. Everybody here, man, you guys are just absolutely amazing. We've got 85 in tonight, baby.
Oh, we do. That's
Yeah, we got a full
great.
complement in here.
Yep.
Yeah, or pretty near. The stream, we've gotten peak watchers at 133, 140, and 224, and one time 289 peak viewers. So occasionally we make some noise here, don't we? So it's good to see each and every one of you out there. Now, Thin Lizzy's Thunder and Lightning, uh, I guess they were coming off of. I didn't buy Thin Lizzy. Always loved their stuff on the radio, but you pick the ones you can afford to buy and collect, and they were. I love them. I loved Thin Lizzy, but I didn't collect their albums. And evidently, they had a weak stretch on Chinatown and Renegade, and they came back to absolutely rebound for their 12th album. And, as far as how good it is, I haven't heard it. You guys would have to let me know. Thin Lizzy, this is Thunder and Lightning. So let me know what I know they're big hits and things like that. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend or go to Wikipedia before I get up here. I tell you what my knowledge base is. If I have to do any research, it's to clarify a year or whatever. Loved them on the radio, just like Ozzy. Now I have an Ozzy album, and I want to get them all. I got some great, two great suggestions from Doc Insomnia, and those are at the top of my list to get his catalog, right? So just even covering Thin Lizzy tonight kind of makes me curious. Maybe I ought to go back and see. What do you guys think? Would it be worth the peruse? Would you like to hear more on Thin Lizzy on this channel? You'd be coming from a guy taking it from like I was on the outside, but now I'm on the inside type of thing, right? The Police, Synchronicity. This is the band to me that every album just got better, right? There might have been a flip flop with the first two albums, but basically every album, and you can make an argument either way, but every album got progressively better to the point of Synchronicity, which I consider, of course, Zenyatta Mandata and Ghost in the Machine and Synchronicity are all what I would, well, all of the Police are masterpieces, but these are prime masterpieces. These, God, think about what they were surviving in, right? And managing to sound like some of their contemporaries, but not quite this was a freaking band, right? This wasn't some chump getting up there, oh Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine. It wasn't that. But they were competing with acts like that were very successful on top 40 radio, and they had no trouble keeping up. Mainly due to the power of the songwriting of Sting. But, Sting and the drummer just never, ever, ever got along. All right. And even Andy, they said during the course of that last album, he'd be dour all the time. They weren't a team that was going to last very long, and yet we got 5 wonderful albums, unblemished albums, as far as I'm concerned. Now they've got the Clash, Cut the Crap. Uh, yeah, They say that there's two, for most fans, there's two final albums for the Clash. To me, uh, yeah, I don't know. I'd say that was combat rock for me. I don't agree with this at all. I don't like the history after it unfolded there. To me, the Clash are identified by a core membership. So this one, I'd say, was a miss as far as I'm concerned. George Harrison, Cloud Nine, talk about coming. I mean, he had done, what was it, Don Troppo? Was it a horrible response to that and everything? I remember when this album came out, I went, man, if this had just one more disc on it, this could contend with All Things Must Pass, even as a double album versus the triple aspects of that. But no, and this was the last George Harrison. You guys will go, wait a minute, what about Brainwashed? Brainwashed was a posthumous album, and for this list, they were staying away from posthumous albums, as we've already discussed, right? Brainwashed is a flawed small M masterpiece for me. George had lost his voice quite a bit. I didn't like the register he was singing in. I found it uncomfortable to listen to, and yet the songs are wonderful. Recordings are wonderful. Jeff Lynne and his son did a fabulous job on that. Um, Talking Heads, Naked. Evidently, this was in response to them being kind of considered a pop band. They wanted to get into the art aspects, a more involved area, and definitely what a way to go out. Jefferson Airplane. Of course, we're talking about Jefferson Airplane by the Jefferson Airplane. Yes, the same album from 1989. They got back with some of the originals, most of them, if not all of them. Was Kokana there? Yeah. Jack Cassidy was there. I know Cantner was there. Grace. Was Marty on that one? I think Marty was even. Was he? One of you could let me know. And what a ho hum album, right? As a matter of fact, what did Kokkonen? Yeah, he was there. He, I think that's how you pronounce, or Kawakonen. I've always had trouble with his name. But it says it was very much the modular sequenced LA way of recording. It works for some people, but not for me. It just wasn't even fun. It was well done, but not very passionate. That's from one of the members there. So a final album is not always a final masterpiece. Definitely. The Grateful Dead, Built to Last. This was coming off their last album, which also had a touch of gray, and that was a ho hum album. Of course, then they'd spend the next 30 years dying off to the point there's only one of them left. And they call themselves Dead and Company and charge exorbitant prices for free park concerts. Enough said. Stevie Ray Vaughan with Vaughan Brothers, 1990. Not my favorite album. Great guitar playing. There's no doubt about it. It seems a little bit too here and there-ish for me. Uh, and I love both these artists. Absolutely love both these artists and everything. But it's not one of my favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan albums, and it wasn't intended to be his last album. It's just the way it worked. Him and a helicopter had an appointment, didn't he? Okay, so let's see. Where are we next? Got the Jefferson, got the Grateful Dead. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, got it. Got it. Oh, Dire Straits on Every Street. When I got this album, I loved it. Sometimes you're the whatever, and sometimes you're the bug. I loved this album. Matter of fact, we were just married when, well, let's see, it says it's 1993. I had it, I probably picked it up about a year or two later, right? So that's 95. I met Kimberly in 97, but I was still playing it in 1997. I bored her with that album, right? For a good year and a half after. But then after a while, I found I haven't listened to it that much. When I'm in the mood for Dire Straits, I go to something else, definitely. Brothers in Arms, right? So, uh, Calling Elvis is great, great tune there, right? Good, competent album, but less Dire Straits to me than any of their albums for some reason. although at the time I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've just gone cold over it lately, folks. Billy Joel, River of Dreams, like I said before, I have absolutely been a Billy Joel fan. I don't just like classic rock, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Queen, um, the Allman Brothers, but I also like great pop, especially pop songwriters of the day. Paul Simon, Simon and Garfunkel when they were together, Paul Simon when he was separate, Stevie Wonder, Paul McCartney and Wings. I loved all these singer songwriters, and Billy Joel was right up there. I didn't get him while he was still in his Piano Man phase. I started digging in on him when he got to The Stranger, like probably a whole lot of you, right? I mean, name a song on an album that wasn't a hit. It seemed like it, and if it wasn't an actual hit, it was being played on FM radio all over the place. Monster album, and I bought that, and I liked A River of Dreams. Uh, as a matter of fact, it's solid, solid, solid. It's just not my favorite. And is it a hit or a miss? Somewhere in between, leaning on a hit for me. Okay, there's a couple of when him and McCartney get too gospely sounding. I kind of lose interest in both of them because I don't think they necessarily got a great gospel sound. But that's my own opinion, especially Paul. But Billy's much better at it than Paul. But I don't like the gospel sound that Paul puts in some of his songs. A matter of fact, what song is it off Back to the Egg, which I love, but I don't like the gospel uh, bass tune on side two. That's the only weak spot. I should do a video. Great albums with only one weak spot. How would that sound like? You know, uh, Nirvana in Utero was Cobain. Um, just said, that's it. I'm not going to do. He was unhappy with the total product of Nevermind. And he said, no, there's got to be more than just the grunge, 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 grunge. Everybody knew he could write a melody because Nevermind knows grunge, 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 but great melodies and everything. But I got to tell you, in Utero, 7 months after it came out, he was dead at the age of 27. Another member of the 27 Club. And what did we get? My favorite album by them, In Utero, 1993. Emerson, Lake and Palmer in the hot seat. Boy, I heard this. What was it when I first started my channel? It was boring to me. I don't know about you guys. A definite miss to me. Queen Made in Heaven. All right, now everybody makes so much of this. It went number one. It's got some great stuff on it, but it's not my at all my favorite Queen. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, and he was in just as much pain and everything. To me, the last masterpiece that Queen ever did was Innuendo, and I hardly ever hear anybody speak up on how absolutely fantastic Queen's Innuendo album is, and everybody made a big deal. Of course, that's in connection with Freddie Mercury passing away of AIDS, right? And so another tragedy. And most of you would agree that this was a masterpiece, I suppose. It certainly sold like it was a masterpiece. There's some great stuff on it. There's no doubt about it, but it's not at the top of a Queen album for me. I would take the album recorded before that, Innuendo, any day. God, it has elements of Flash Gordon in it sometimes, and elements of Queen 2, and elements of A Day at the Races, or A Night at the Opera, I should say. Well, and some Day at the Races in there. And that's my, sheer heart attack, Queen 2. Those are my hot periods for Queen. All right. So I bought it and I enjoyed it at the time. But after about a week and a half of listening to it, I was back to listening to Innuendo, right? The Allman Brothers Band, Hitting the Note in 2003. I think this is the only album that had Butch on guitar. And I guess that's the one that, yeah, it's from I have this on CD or DVD. Them at New York City's Beacon Theater, right? So I love that whole show. I've not listened to it as an album, but I love that show. If the album is up there, I would love it. And that would be a great way to go out. I lost a lot of interest in the Allman Brothers after Dwayne died, right? It was hit and miss for me. They were one of those hit and miss albums or bands for me. And if this album is anywhere near like the Beacon Theater show, I would absolutely love it. And this is an example of a actual live album as the last album, and of course that's why I included Pink Floyd at Pompeii for mine. Okay, let's see. Then we got to what time is it? 6:01. We're coming down to the wire here, baby.
Yeah.
Steely Dan, Everything Must Go. I liked it. Two Against Nature was better. Maybe they should have left it there. No, it's a good album. This is one of those, it's neither hit nor miss for me. It's a good album. Two Against Nature, though, if that had been their last album, then they would have left as a band with a freaking masterpiece because it's as good as anything else they've done. Let me see. Okay. Well, we got through. Yeah. We got through. Can you believe it? Me warbling my mouth at 1,000 miles an hour. We've gotten up to 27. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to finish this list on my next stream, and we're going to go into a very cool stream on my next stream on Wednesday. We're going to finish this up, and then we're going to go into 100, the 100 greatest songs of classic rock. And I've got a list there again from UCR. And I'd like to throw half of these suckers out. That's all I can say. So if you're interested in finishing this list, because I got to shut down, guys, I got to run over. I'm in Northern California. Royce is in Southern California. Yeah, that's how fast I got to run to get over to Royce's house, right? So I got to shut down here, but I'll continue this list. I told you at the beginning, whether we get through this list or not, I have my doubts, right? And then we're also going to start a series of polls. I haven't been doing polls lately, mainly because I've been prepping for this. And this will include.
Oh my goodness. Urge is splitting.
Yeah, this is a message from Irga Splitting.
Member tribal chieftain for 2 months.
Thank you.
Much.
Yeah, he says, Gear Jam here says, Michael, congrats on the 46K subscribers. Also to those ailing, Dr. Rick, Agent Pepsi, et al., right? You all are in my thoughts and prayers, and ours as well. Gear Jam, absolutely. Oh my goodness, Dan.
Fax man came in.
Oh, right, my friend. See you at Royce's house. Yeah, Dan's going to be on the channel. I've been doing this with Royce we're in our 4th year. I think I errantly said for over 4 years the other night. But I should have said for over 3 years, and we're well into our 4th year. We started our 4th year in May, right? But as far back as I go, Dan goes back even farther. He was what I consider Royce's original co-host to the show. And welcome to the seat at any time, as far as I'm concerned, brother. You absolutely rock. And thank you for your $10 super thanks. I saw that. John C. You know what? John C. does this. Have you noticed he came in at the last minute on our last stream with a $5 super thanks. And nothing, he doesn't say anything. He just supporting the channel. Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Donna the Frank is in. I just want to give a readout of people here. Jersey Devil, good to see you. I'm sure we'll see you over at Royce's. Crisis actor John, sir. Your neighbors up the road. All the walls are black. Easy on the eyes. Okay. John S. Rouse is in. We've got Bron Snake, of course. D. Martin. Natalie Angelo, brand new tribal marshal. Storm Cop 55, James, my oldest Patreon supporter, bar none. Just absolutely. I think I may have gotten 2 super thankses before there, and they were like 6 months apart and just random. They were random. But then he started, and I got to tell you, James has a lot to do with me keeping my energies up for this channel and everything. Like I've said it before, James believed in me before I knew there was a me to believe in, you know, and that's for absolute sure. Tim Henry, we're so glad that you're doing well. I mentioned you in that uh, uh, members only video to a little more detail. I'll let you handle all the detail beyond that, but I let inner tribal members know about what's going on with you. Brother, you know, I said it in that video, I'll say it again. You really know how to man up. All right. You've just done such fantastic uh, job at facing a crisis and turning it into lemonade, brother. That's all I can say. Frank Walton is in. Caitlin, the divine Caitlin. And, Caitlin, you got to get in early. I'll make you a marshal. You got to get in early, though, before I get up. Come in about 20 minutes early, and then, I'll catch you up and I'll badge you up, baby. Bodie Slip, Bodio Sip. I've seen that before. It's been a while since I saw you. When I was a boy, I Had a Dream is a great song. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see who else is here. Just wanted to say hi to everybody. Stephen Fox and Dwayne Chamberlain. Good to see you, brothers. I'm sorry. On Sunday nights, it's hard for me to get to individual people. What's that?
RBR, the Retro Beat Repository came in.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Retro Beat is in. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Frank Walton. I think I mentioned you, brother. Joseph Blue. Good to see you, Joseph. Good to see you. Dead and Company includes 3 original members of the Grateful Dead: Bob Weir, Mickey Hart, and Bill Kurtzman. Oh, really? Okay. I thought there was just one surviving member. I'm not a deadhead by any stretch of the imagination, brother. But thanks for the correction. I can take criticism. Like I said, if I get something wrong, correct me. And I'll humbly ask for your forgiveness. Oh my goodness, Rockin' Robin Bird in at the last second here with a power of $2 and just a single letter. Oh, says B, and then it says thanks. Thank you, Rockin' Robin. And I'm sure I'll see you over at Royce's. All right, guys, it's almost 10 after here. That gives me about 15 minutes. Take a break and then gear up here. Got to recharge my mics and everything. And hopefully I'll see you over at Royce in the house tonight. All right, the panel discussion is about, well, Royce didn't send me any additional information. He's talking about why Robert Plant didn't show up at a certain concert, and but just by his title, I have a couple of opinions on the matter. I'm sure all of you do as well. So I hope to see you over. That's at 6:30. All right. And my time right now, it's 6:09. So in 21 minutes, Royce in the house will be live streaming, and Dan and I guess, at least will be on the panel. All right, folks, I had a wonderful time here. I gave you half the content, but I'll make up for it. There's just no way in an hour. I went over an hour, and there's just no way to get through this, right? I still have couple of dozen albums we could talk about. We'll do that. Plus, we're going to be talking about the 100 greatest songs of classic rock. So be sure to join me on Wednesday. All right, folks, I'll see you in a few minutes over at Royce in the house. And all I can say is I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line. Tonight has been Tribal Forum number 61, and I hope to see you at Tribal Forum number 62 on Wednesday. All right, folks, night.